Relevant Magazine, this is the Relevant Podcast.
It's Friday, September 13th, 2019. Ooh, it's Friday the 13th. I just realized.
It is Friday the 13th.
And it's the Relevant Podcast. I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and here with me in our Orlando studios, on the ones and twos, our illustrious brother, Chandler Strang.
Hello.
I've noticed that Twitter is not happy that I've shortened his introduction.
That's fine.
They
cool
feel
with it.
he deserves all the accolades.
But he became our brother, which I feel like is kind of an upgrade.
I was like, that's kind of an upgrade. I was going to say that. I was like, yo, he's our brother. Let's go.
Right.
On the Skype line from Loverland, Virginia, Jesse Carey.
Hello, hello.
From Nashville, Tennessee, author, speaker, podcaster, cowgirl extraordinaire, Annie F. Downs.
Good morning, Jim.
And joining us from Los Angeles, representing the West Coast, MC, activist, poet, our friend, Propaganda, sitting in for the whole show today.
West, let's go.
It's a West Coast. Well, I guess Bianca's on the West Coast. I'm thinking we have West Coast representation fairly often.
Yeah, of course.
We got the heartland in there. Is Nashville the heartland? I don't know. Anything
0%.
that's not on the coast is the heartland to me. You know, it's right in the middle.
Anything that you can't get to the ocean.
Any
is
one
heartland.
of those states that I'm not like that I could find on a blank U.S. map with about 80% certainty. That's heartland right there. It's like I think that's Iowa. It's like the Hey Bargatze joke where he's like, we didn't learn the states. The only states we learned going to school in Tennessee was Tennessee and the states that bordered us in case they attack. And that's pretty much the limits of my American geography. Like I look at a map and I'm like, I think I could get half. I think if it was blank and he gave me a pen, fill it out, I could get half.
I'm gonna get mixed up in the Iowa range.
When they start getting kind of cubey out west, you know, it's like, oh, this is I know Nevada's
Y'all
one
better
of
be
them.
Careful because the minute you name drop a state, we get tweets from that
I'm
state.
sorry.
People are like,
Yes.
we are right here.
I'm sorry if your state looks like just a block. I don't know the difference between Utah and you know.
Oh, don't do it.
Don't
okay,
do
I'm
it.
not even gonna name
Those are
anymore.
fine.
You already got the Utahns.
Listen, you know what
angry.
states I'm talking about.
No, those are easy. It's the one that if you go straight up to Louisiana, all the way up the top, anything that borders the Mississippi River, you're just like, wait, I know these states.
Yeah.
I know them because I've been there. Wait, but if you take the name off of it, you're just like,
Listen,
no, I know that. I know what it looks like. You're like, no, I've been there. I love you guys. You have good coffee.
I'd be willing to say right now, I'd be willing to say if I threw out a blank U.S. map to this group and I said, you have 5 seconds to find New Hampshire, I think 25%. I think.
You'd have to zoom in. You'd have to zoom in.
No zooming.
New Hampshire's not that bad.
It's the New Hampshire, Delaware, Rhode Island cluster that's tough.
That's what I'm talking about.
And then like Prop said, like is that Indiana or Ohio? And then
that's
veering left
You're
from
going
Indiana, I'm not real
Cincinnati,
sure.
Ohio, Missouri.
Yeah.
Like if you're just like, wait, which one of these is which?
Yeah.
You're like, yeah,
Heartland.
And then
That's why I call it Heartland.
Heartland.
The Iowa, Wyoming. I mean, I go to Montana a couple times every year. I'm not sure which one of those big squares is Montana.
Well, Montana's not a square. That's a ginormous state.
Yeah. I know.
It's
that is true.
Yeah, whatever.
It's all Heartland.
We're so off the rails right now.
Speaking of the nation and traveling, I had an observation, Cameron, that I think I should just get to it now.
All right.
So I did some traveling last week. Long story short, Prop, I met country music legend Alan Jackson in the airport. We had a delightful time hanging out. You can listen to the full story last week.
Yeah. We don't reference old shows, but this, this story has taken on a life of its own. Jesse is notorious, Prop, when he travels. What you're looking at right now with I have big headphones on, that's me when I travel. It's like, don't talk to me. I'm good.
Yeah, leave me alone.
When Jesse travels,
Live look at Cameron in every airport.
Jesse,
window seat, hood up,
done.
headphones in.
Done. When Jesse travels, no headphones, and he's making eye contact with people and smiling, like seeing who wants to talk to him.
Look at this charm.
So
I'm just throwing out the charm. Anyway, so I met Alan Jackson at the airport, and last week I talked about the whole story because it's kind of a weird, crazy story. So go back and listen to it if you want to hear it. But
the thing prop is Alan Jackson sat down next to Jesse and he didn't know who he was. Would you have known who Alan Jackson is?
Not a clue.
Yeah.
Never heard
Me
the name
neither.
until just now.
No, he's a huge
wow.
country music legend, and Jesse sat down next to a guy in a cowboy hat, and they got talking about ranches and cattle and stuff like that. And then
Glorious.
Alan Jackson sees the cowboy and Jesse and comes and sits down with them, and the guy says to Jesse,
Loses it.
"That's Alan Jackson." And there's a whole story of how this guy's been a lifelong fan, blah blah blah. Anyway. They're drinking.
Great
so
story.
they're at the airport bar at 10 a.m. And Alan Jackson sidles up. And so we get talking about that on the show.
Yeah.
And in the segment break after Jesse's story last week on the podcast, I threw in an Alan Jackson song as a joke.
Yeah.
We were looking for his gospel song because we had mentioned it. And I was looking for the gospel song and came across this Alan Jackson song. What's it called, Jesse?
5 o'clock somewhere.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. And I thought, oh, that's perfect. So I throw it in there. And
With Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah.
It's him and Jimmy
So
Buffett.
I thought 5 o'clock somewhere was a Jimmy Buffett song, and the theme of the song, and so they put it in, and so I'm like listening back to the podcast. I always listen before it goes out, or me or somebody on the team, and I texted, and I was laughing out loud that they chose 5 o'clock somewhere because it is a song about finding an excuse to like day drink, and I was like,
Day
that
drink,
is
yeah.
very funny that is the song you came out of this with, and so. So later that day, I decide to walk down to my daughter's preschool to pick her up, and I got my earbuds in. I'm like, you know what? That little clip of 5 o'clock somewhere was kind of a banger. I'm going to throw that thing on Spotify. And so I'm walking through the neighborhood in the middle of the day, and I'm listening to the song, laughing at the lyrics because they're hilarious. And sure enough, like, it's Alan Jackson singing about knocking off work and sneaking out to the bar. And he in the last verse of the song is sung by Jimmy Buffett, right?
Okay.
And but so it's it's an Alan Jackson song with Jimmy Buffett, and the last like 30 seconds of the song, and people can go back and listen to it to see if I'm exaggerating because I am certain I'm not.
I know exactly
They
what it is.
promote
Yeah.
something that is very dangerous, and if this song was released in 2019, this would not be cool because they talk about operating a boat under the influence. They are promoting drunk boating, like drunk driving, drunk boating. Like literally, here's the end of the song.
Because it's them speaking back and forth, right?
So it's like, so Jimmy Buffett does the last verse, and he's like, you know, Alan, I seen your boat up at Margaritaville a couple times. And Alan's like, oh boy, I get in there late at night sometimes. And Jimmy's like, oh, I've seen it. He's like, come stumbling on out, Jimmy. And he's like, you make that boat home okay? He's like, I don't know. I think so. Try to keep it in the channel markers. He goes, oh, ho, don't hit them buoys. And I'm like, this is a
No, he
conversation.
says he says keep it between the buoys.
Yeah, keep it between. And I'm like, they're like, this shouldn't be allowed. This
boating
shouldn't
under
be,
the influence is as illegal as driving under the influence.
and that's dangerous.
You know, and they say hip hop is bad. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, look here, y'all ratchet, okay? Just stop talking about y'all ratchet. You know what I'm saying? Grandpa, ratchet. You feel me?
That's what I'm saying. Like, this is not something that should be promoted in a song. Like,
No,
we
it's
should have a
ratchet.
campaign against this. Like, listen. Jimmy should be like, I saw you boat on into Margaritaville and stumble on out, Alan. He's like, that's sure right, Jimmy. He's like, good thing I was a good friend and called you an Uber. I didn't literally encourage you on stage in a hit song to get behind the wheel when you've been drinking margaritas all night.
There you go. Should be.
Or
Yes.
just Alan Jackson taking a lime scooter down the coast
Yes.
because he doesn't want to get behind the wheel.
I mean,
It
drunk
should be-
scooting
it should be a wholesome mess.
is not any better. Drunk scooting. I see that all the time here in Nashville, and I'm like, y'all are going to get
won't.
seriously injured.
It's
gonna get
illegal.
hurt.
Drunk
Yes.
scooting, drunk bicycling, it's all illegal. You can get a ticket for riding your bike under the influence.
Yeah,
so,
as you should. It's a dangerous
We
thing.
got
to do.
signs on the highway now that cannabis is legal about like driving high too.
wow.
It's just
Oh,
like,
really?
hey, that counts, guys.
Yeah.
Right,
That's their
right.
Listen, I'm not going to tell anyone how they want to live their life, but don't get behind the wheel. If you listen to 5 o'clock somewhere because it's a hilarious song, remember, don't do what Alan and Jimmy do because
These are not good
I
lessons.
appreciate you saying it's a hilarious song. It's also kind of a good song, Jesse. There's a demographic of us that do enjoy Alan Jackson.
I will say this. I do have one tie to country music, and it's, y'all know my birth name is Jason Petty.
Yep.
And there is a very famous Hank Williams impersonator named Jason Petty. And he has the domain. So when I tried to get jasonpetty.com, I clicked on it and I was like, it's got a Hank Williams impersonator. And he totally is. Go for it.
Wow.
I didn't know there was a market for that.
Annie has her, quilting Annie Downs. You have a Hank impersonator, Jason Petty.
Yes.
I am in a social media domain one-upsmanship with a Cameron Strang. Like since the early 90s or mid 90s, I've been aware of a Cameron Strang who he used to run a country label, and now he's the president of Warner Brothers Music. And so,
you can't win that
when
one.
people,
you're not going to get that one.
No, I have them all. I beat them to them. I have CameronStrang.com. I have @CameronStrang, all of them. And he's the one who's playing catch up. I'm just saying.
Hey, Prop, I have an idea of how you can get that JasonPetty.com from the St. Williams impersonator.
Here we go.
We need to frame him for drunk boating. They'll believe he's a country. He's a country impersonator. The cops will believe us if we report him. We'll be like, we saw this guy. He's all over the place out there. He's driving that.
They're going to be like, it's a crime, but
he was driving that bass boat like it was a jet ski. Get him out of the waterways. He's a hazard. And you can be like, I will tell the police this, sir, unless you relinquish the domain. And you'll be like, well, I don't have a choice because they'll definitely believe you. That sounds like operating a bass boat at high speeds while under the influence. Definitely sounds like someone who is a professional Hank Williams impersonator. That sounds like behavior they would actually do.
Well, we have a great show in store for you today, despite the start. Coming up later, it's going to be a little bit of a different tone later in the show. We're bringing on our friend, speaker, podcaster, and counselor Mike Foster to join us to talk about mental health in light of the news that we all heard this week of the death of Pastor Jarrid Wilson, who's written for Relevant, has been a friend of the show over the years, and the tragic story there. And Mike and Jarrid were friends, and we wanted to bring him on to talk about that. So that's coming up later. Also, man, we're just all over the place. We got starting hot with the Alan Jackson, the heavy-hearted segment coming up later with Mike Foster, and we have the new issue of Relevant that we're going to tell you about. Coming up, Tyler Huckabee will be joining us from Paris. We'll tell you about the new issue of Relevant with Malcolm Gladwell on the cover. Ooh. It's a very exciting issue, and it's in motion to you right now. So we're going to tell you all about it. So, all right, stay tuned. Up next, it's the Hot List. You're listening to Snake Hips. The song is Summer Fade, featuring Anna of the North. At the beginning of the podcast, you heard Weezer's new banger, The End of the Game.
Still rocking after like 30 years. Good.
See,
for
the cover art for it says Van Weezer, and it's in that like Van Halen font and stuff. Dude, it's...
Guys, you got to look, man. We don't value longevity enough, man. Like,
let's go there,
you know, man, look, dude, if you could still get 100, 200, 3,000 people in a room, man, you could keep your Grammys. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Shoot.
I've long been a Weezer advocate, and I'm glad they're getting proper recognition on this podcast.
Well, they're doing a huge tour. They're doing a huge tour with Green Day and Blink-182 and Weezer.
Yeah.
They just announced it.
Touring, bro. Listen, I'm telling you this from right now. Like when you looking at like having to like cancel dates because the room is like, yo, where the tickets at? You know, and you feel like you have failed in all areas of life because that one city ain't buying tickets for you, bro. Let me tell you, it's not like I'm speaking from experience. Actually, I'm absolutely speaking from experience. You know what I'm saying? Yo, if you could still sell a ticket, bro, clap for that person. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, good for them.
The biggest thing, we just this summer released issue 100 of Relevant, and we started back in 2003, and I've been getting texts from friends like who have been along, like who've been doing things for a long time too.
Yeah.
And the one thing they've been saying to me is, man, congrats. The staying power is underrated.
Yes.
The fact you're still doing it and still evolving, still doing it. And they were very kind. And it was just like, you're in the middle of it day to day. You just don't think about, how long it's been. But that's been the one thing that these other people who've like built something, they're like, dude, it's keeping it going. It's
being able to stick around.
Longevity, yeah.
And Cameron, how many editorial meetings have we been in over the years? I'm like, have we reached out to Weezer?
I mean
that calm too.
I mean, for real, it's you slip it into the list at least twice a year.
I never lead with it. I always have like a list of like, all the a lot of artists, a lot of like cool progressive stuff. And there's like, so anyway, we got the new Bon Iver. We got Weezer. Let's see. Chance has this thing.
All right, coming in. It's time for
It's the hot list. The hot list. It's just
I want to say one thing before we jump in, Cameron. One of these items I was on the fence about, and I chose specifically for Annie. Like I was like, I don't know. And I was like, you know what? 5. This is a hat tip to our friend. This is a hat tip, so you can guess which one that is.
This is interesting.
Okay, we have to guess.
All right. Well, I can. Is it the one that I think it is? Because it's
not the first one. It's not the first one. This one was too interesting. I felt like this one was just too interesting of a discussion point.
Here we go. All right. Coming in number 5.
Wait, before we get into it, I still have to say that still super shout outs to Chandler because the jingle still brings out the Uncle Mike in me. It's just immediately I got a Bluetooth on. And you're just like, what's up, baby?
You got a white linen shirt on. Yeah.
I got a white linen and some leather sandals.
You're wearing sunglasses inside. I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah, I'm screaming on the phone right now like everybody can't hear me. What'd you say, Chuck? You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
All right, coming in number 5. The new version of Monopoly was announced this week, and it's going to take on the gender pay gap in a very interesting way. So the new edition of the game envisions a world in which the pay gap has not only closed, but has swung the other way. So in the new version of Monopoly, women players... It's called Miss Monopoly, by the way. Women players are dealt more money at the outset than male players, $1,900 versus $1,500. And they get more money for pass and go, $240 versus $200. So instead of vying in the area of real estate, Miss Monopoly players move around the board and invest in inventions and innovations created by women. Jen Boswinkle, Senior Director of Global Brand Strategy and Marketing for Hasbro, told USA Today, "We made sure that this felt authentic and was a fun game families could play and learn about these things that they love and are part of their life that they didn't know were invented by women." However, many online critics were quick to point out that Monopoly itself was a somewhat ironically patriarchal backstory. The idea for the game was essentially stolen from a woman named Lizzie Maggie, who created the Landlord's Game in 1903 to demonstrate the cruelty of the economic injustices she saw around her. Maggie created 2 sets of rules, one in which players are rewarded for cooperating with each other as a way of demonstrating the perks of a more just economic system. The other set of rules, well, you're probably familiar with those because that's what Monopoly is. Hasbro does seem to be doing its part to make sure that future innovations by women won't go as unheralded as Monopoly itself. In a video announcing the launch, Hasbro surprised 3 teenage women inventors with more than $20,000 to honor their achievements. What do we think about
Annie's mouth has been has been just like open and she's wide-eyed
Amazed.
the entire time you're reading. Annie's just like, what? What is this? What is this?
What?
What is your thoughts here?
I love that well, for starters, I didn't know that Monopoly was created first by a woman and then stolen, but that's interesting. But I love that I love that all the squares are different inventions and innovations by women. That's really cool. Because when I saw it, I kind of thought like, I mean, this is interesting, but why would you buy an entire game just to switch the pay? Like just switch the pay when you play normal Monopoly. But if the squares are different, that's super cool.
Yeah. Well, and like I've thought because this was released, particularly the gender pay gap demonstration aspect of the game. I saw some interesting criticism of it, but all of it, in my mind, I'm always like, who cares? Like, it's like an interesting idea that's stimulating an important conversation, and the stakes are pretty low. It's a board game. You know what I mean? Like,
there's that. Yeah.
And it's like, if they found a creative way to start a conversation about the gender pay gap and have rolled it into a piece of pop culture everyone's familiar with, how is that not a positive thing? You know?
All right, coming in number 4 this week, Jimmy Fallon made fun of the world of Instagram pseudo-spirituality by introducing a new segment that poked fun of the trend of those vaguely spiritual, inspirational quotes that people put on Instagram, but they don't really say anything. The bit is called #blessed, #inspired. Here's a clip.
Annie, this is for you. This is your man. This is your favorite.
So whenever I need to pick me up, I go to my main source of spiritual strength. It's inspirational quotes that your annoying friend posted on Instagram. And that, folks, it's time for a brand spanking new segment called #blessed, #inspired.
And now, #blessed,
I love this so much.
Now, our first inspirational quote is, "Nothing is impossible, except for putting a USB cable in the right way on the first try." That is actually impossible. That is actually...
Literally, I've never once got my microphone plugged in on the first time.
Right.
We don't remember days, we remember moments. Like the moment when you finally paid me back for the lunch I bought you last week, Cheryl. Here's one. Here's one right here.
Oh, these are great.
Keep going. You're almost there. Actually, it turns out there's construction up ahead. Google Maps just added 40 minutes to your travel time. Another 40 minutes. You can do
40 minutes.
Put it on a podcast. I don't know.
Come on, what are you going to do, man?
That is so unfunny. Sorry, Jesse. You and I have very different senses of humor, apparently.
Annie,
That's
he's your
hilarious.
hero, right? Jimmy?
I love that guy. Yeah.
I'd pick
It's
that
a funny idea. It's a
that.
funny start.
Yeah, I think he could work on the bit a little bit, but
Yeah.
the premise is there because
Yeah.
it's very true. As a matter of fact, I read this like doctoral thesis about what's happening in the brain and what type of brain is actually inspired by stuff like that. Like there's an actual like neuroscience as to like who actually finds this interesting
Really?
and learns from it. Yeah. Don't let me quote it because it's quite a diss. What they're saying is going on in your amygdala. Like it's quite a diss, guys. So like it has a lot to do with your frontal lobe where you just can't be like, yo, you're not saying anything.
But the other thing too is like I've seen like the other version of this, which is like sermon clips, you know, and like some of them are good. Like some of them are like, oh, that was 90 seconds of inspiration. But sometimes I'm like I was joking with somebody about it. I can't remember, you into or you too. Like it's when they lean into the, like some biblical phrase that like I'm supposed to glean meaning from because the pastor's saying it very passionately from the stage. Like at ORU, they had this whole sermon about some obscure verse in the Old Testament that, you know, God's blessing was eventually come if you're patient enough. And the camels were seen coming over the hill with all the wealth and treasure. And like, they would be like, your camels are coming. Your camels are coming. Those are the type of sermon clips on Instagram that I'm like, okay, this did nothing for me. This is just like promoting.
Translate.
This is just promoting the sermon podcast or whatever. The intent of this was not to actually enact change or, you know, have any sort of like actual depth. It just is to get that, you know, pastor personality in front of my face on Instagram. You know, I see a lot of those.
And I'll tell you who does have good clips is TD Jakes. I watch all his clips that he
he's
puts
got some
up
things
on
to
his
say.
Instagram. They're all fire. I love them.
All right, coming in number 3 this week, Chance, the rapper, discussed how Jesus inspires his community activism when he was a guest on the Ellen Show this week. She asked him why he was so charitable. He's given millions to causes that serve people in need and children in and around Chicago. He said that ultimately it comes down to the teachings of Christ and the values instilled in him by his parents. Here's a clip.
Why is it important for you to give back?
I think, all right, so why is it important? So my understanding of a lot of stuff is based on Jesus. So, like, Jesus teaches to be like, you know, to care for your neighbor and care for people that aren't necessarily your blood, but still a part of your body because we're all humans. And so, like, I think that's an impactful thing that I think I understood more as I got older. But my parents, since I was young, definitely instilled in me to, like, when you see people that are in need, you don't just want to pass them by. You want to try and, do something beneficial to them before you leave, because that's your imprint. So I guess it's a mixture of my parents and Jesus would be my answer.
Good inspiration.
It's quite a combo.
I know. I know his latest album has gotten mixed reviews, but I like this earnest turn. He's like, I'm not saying like, The Big Day is my favorite album ever or anything, but I think it's nice to see an artist embrace a sense of earnestness, not just in his music, but also his whole persona seems to really have embraced this no apologies. Like, yeah, I give to people because I think it's cool and because that exemplifies my faith, and just how he like carries himself seems different than a lot of artists do these days.
Yeah, I think two things, man. One is like, for the mixed review thing, it's like, okay, part of the mystique of Chance was like he was the people's champ, the underdog, like we're all cheering for him. And then it's like, okay, now he's got like a record deal and stuff like that. So like the mystique is gone, but I feel like this is who he really is. This is who he always was. The music still stands up as far as I'm concerned. But one thing I did notice too was he just recently talked about how he was like postponing his tour because he was like, man, I just got married. We just had another child. He's like, man, I missed so many like moments of my first child. He's like, man, the tours will be there. I don't want to miss these moments. We'll come back next year after these like first, few months and I can experience these things. And I'm like, dude, you are who you say you are. You know what I'm saying? And that to me, like you said, like, I love that, man. But I feel like he's always been that. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like you said, like, he's like, man, I'm just going to put it out there. That's dope.
Yeah. All right. Coming in number 2, Lin-Manuel Miranda this week said he's reading Rachel Held Evans' final book. Obviously, he's the guy behind Hamilton and a lot of other stuff like the songs in Moana and other pop culture musical offerings. Well, Lin-Manuel Miranda took time on Twitter to answer a few fan questions this week. And in doing so, recommended a work by beloved author Rachel Held Evans, who passed away earlier this year. So the Twitter user asked him if he'd read any books over the summer sabbatical. And he recommended a few choice reads, including the New York Times' harrowing 1619 project about slavery in the U.S., playwright Stephen Schwartz's biography called Defying Gravity, and Inspired, Rachel Held Evans' last book before her tragic passing. She was known
you guys know she has one more book coming out, by the way.
Yeah.
Next year, right?
Yeah, there is one more book coming. So it's her last book that released while she was alive, but there will be another one at the end of this year that she had already finished.
Yeah. She was known for her thoughtful books that challenged traditional interpretations of theology and created open, safe places for people to explore their honest questions and doubts about their faith. She was 37 when she died following a sudden illness in April, leaving behind her husband, Dan, and 2 kids. She was a fan of Miranda's, once tweeting, quote, basically everything comes back around to Hamilton. So it's cool to see that connection.
He's one of my favorite Twitter follows. I love him.
Oh, seems like a really smart guy.
What do you like about him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like how smart he is. I like that he exposes me. He will retweet art. And so he exposes me to different people's art or music or poetry that I wouldn't have normally seen myself. And every morning and every night, he does this like really encouraging 5-sentence, like wishing you well for the day or letting go of the day if it's the night. Mm-hmm. I just find him to be incredibly inspiring and kind.
That's very Mr. Rogers-y. That's a very Mr. Rogers-y thing to do.
I think that's how it feels a little bit. I mean, I think there's more edge to him because of the art he makes and because of his passion for equality. But it does have a Mr. Rogers feel to how kind he is toward his followers.
That would be exhausting to me. Like, I'm going to say something nice again today.
Project.
Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah.
The 1619 Project is worth a read, by the way, y'all.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Okay, coming in number 1 this week. The Presbyterian Church USA has made a documentary about the Flint water crisis. The film is called Flint, The Poisoning of an American City, and it's a production of PCUSA's Disaster Assistance's Story Production, and it debuted in Flint this week. It's from activist director David Bernhardt, whose previous documentaries included Trigger, The Ripple Effect of Gun Violence, Locked in a Box, Immigration Detention, and Kapulahan, When the Waters Recede, about the aftermath of the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunamis. In a statement, Barnhart explained that the new film shows just how large scale the water crisis is in America and how other cities are also in danger. He said, "We're facing an urgent drinking water crisis in the U.S. that is systemic and widespread, but it does not get the headlines or attention from the wider public. Access to safe, clean drinking water is one of those essential and basic human rights. And the question becomes, how can we allow for some to have access and others to be denied? The poisoning in Flint is a warning of what happens when we deny and ignore the voice of citizens and the tragic reality that this is actually happening in our cities across the country." The movie will be screened in cities around the country this fall. It's really cool that the Presbyterian Church is the one behind it.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Cool. Yeah, to see a major denomination that obviously has a lot of resources decide to dedicate some to a film that showcases an actual need that American citizens can have some assistance in resolving. You know, we all have, in a democracy, we all have some, political power to an extent. Especially because the cities that are affected are often home to communities that have been disenfranchised by corrupt politicians or economic policies. So I think it's really cool that a major denomination is championing this. Okay, so before we close out the jingle, Jesse, which one did you put in there for Annie? Was it the Lin-Manuel Miranda, Rachel Held Evans one? Jimmy Fallon. I had to do Jimmy Fallon.
Actually, it was like 3 out of 5, Jesse. I feel very honored. There were a couple of those that were real Annie-ish.
I know, but that one I was on the fence about. That one was, I was on the Jimmy Fallon was on the, I had another one like in my back pocket. And I was like, you know what? Colbert gets a lot of play on this thing, and it's not often that Jimmy Fallon does something that's like in our lane. And I was like, I don't know. It's kind of cornball-y, but I'll throw Annie one. Thanks, she talks about her love for him. And so I toss it out there for you. I appreciate it. Yeah. All right, that'll do it for her.
It's the hot list. The hot list.
What's up, nephew? How you feeling, nephew? What's going on?
What's up, nephew?
Yeah.
All right, stay tuned. Up next, Mike Foster joins us.
Novus Global's Meta Performance Institute for Coaching is an exclusive, revolutionary program solely dedicated to training the best coaches in the world. Prospective coaches are invited to go beyond high performance and achieve meta performance, alongside this community of world-class practitioners to develop a thriving and sustainable coaching career. Discover the impact you can create with Fortune 500 companies, professional athletes, artists, and leaders. Learn more about the journey at novus.global/the Institute.
You're listening to Surfer Blood. The song is Around Your Sun. Well, Mike Foster is a speaker, author, strategic counselor, and the host of the podcast Fun Therapy. This week, the country observed World Suicide Prevention Day, but it also lost a beloved pastor, author, and mental health advocate in Jarrid Wilson, who died by suicide on Monday. Jarrid was a husband and a father of 2 young kids. We want to invite Mike on the show today to talk about mental health, Jarrid's legacy, and how we can all have meaningful conversations about these important topics. Mike, you, Prop, and Annie all knew Jarrid and his family well. Can you talk about his legacy, especially as it pertains to his work with mental health advocacy in the church?
Yeah, well, I've known Jarrid for 10 plus years. I met him when he was just a young punk kid who wanted to change the world, and had been a friend and mentor to him and Julie. And just, we lost a really bright light this week, and his legacy is breaking the stigma of mental health and breaking down the darkness and bringing light and truth and hope into those places. And, the sense of his work and his life and his legacy is one that I truly believe is going to continue to impact thousands and thousands of people, because the thing that I loved about Jarrid is that he told the truth. And when you tell the truth, people can get help.
Mike, he was one of the things that, if you followed him on Twitter, Jarrid was really passionate about, destigmatizing conversations around mental health and also making it something that the church in particularly could more effectively address. Mike, I know, this is an area that you're passionate about as well, to kind of carry on Jarrid's legacy and some of the things that he was passionate about. What are some ways that we can all more effectively address mental health, especially in the context of faith communities that we're involved in?
Yeah, well, I think it honestly just starts with some of the most basic things. It is amazing how much bad, horrible, unhelpful information there is about mental health and those who struggle with it. And so if I was encouraging pastors, leaders, people who want to advocate for the things that Jarrid was passionate about, I'd say the first step is just to begin to study and get some research and get the information, because I think the information would be quite surprising in terms of what is out there. And I think we've come to a lot of theological conclusions that are unhelpful. I think we've come to a lot of relationship expectation that are unhelpful. I think especially within leadership, the idea of having a struggle, having a mental health issue somehow disqualifies you. That is just abhorrent to me. When I think about that idea, I believe we as leaders and as advocates for people's freedom need to be leaning in to the struggle. And that's what Jarrid did. That's what his life was all about. Jarrid was gifted and talented and passionate, but he also led with his weakness. And that, to me, is how we can lean into these issues, is begin to talk about this, be honest about our own weaknesses, stop pretending that we're all okay. And then that's going to, to me, give the freedom to actually have a more robust conversation around these really important topics.
One of the things that I think some people might find challenging that didn't grow up in an environment where it was the norm to be kind of emotionally vulnerable, or to go to counseling, or to incorporate these different kind of habits that encourage positive mental health, is like they kind of, some people kind of feel awkward with the topic. How, Mike, what are some ways that you would suggest that people can get more comfortable if this is just an area that they weren't kind of raised with, not just an awareness of, but just that kind of comfort level?
Dude, Jesse, it's not just, it's just not awareness. There's major parts of the church that if you're struggling with depression, that just means you don't have enough faith. Or if you're suicidal, well, that's not of God, so you're out of God's will. And like, it's judgmental. It's not just they don't know what to do. I mean, it is like, you can't talk about that stuff. You know,
we're gonna pray it off.
So, Mike, what does the church do? I mean, like, how do we address that?
Yeah, and you're so right. There's so many ideas that are just entrenched in our belief systems and our theology that unfortunately are unhelpful and hurtful to people. And so one of the things I would say this in general about our life and anything that we have come to sort of these hard conclusions, and realizing that we have been influenced by our upbringing, by the churches we grew up in, by society. We have to understand that there's certain things that we believe about certain issues that simply are not true. And so I think the starting point of this for somebody would be, hey, why don't I get a little bit more curious about this? When I start asking questions instead of just keep validating my current beliefs and beliefs that possibly I've been hanging on for 10, 20, 30 years just because they were, someone got to the microphone first that told me what to believe. And so I think that the idea of just stepping back in perspective, asking a question, getting curious about what is depression? What does that really mean to struggle with depression? What are the implications of mental health issues? What does it mean to be open and vulnerable? Is it okay to live that way? And one of the things that I want to encourage everyone who's listening is that I truly believe that this is trending in the right direction. It's trending too slow, in my opinion, but it is trending in the right direction, having these incredibly important conversations. What we're doing today of just putting it out there and saying, let's talk about it, is so powerful and so liberating. And I know just Jarrid would be smiling right now and cheerleading this conversation because of that, because just beginning the conversation and just going, I don't know, or I'm not sure, or can we talk about it? Yeah. That is the first step.
Mike, in your professional opinion, like if a friend that someone who's close to you is struggling with depression or suicidal thoughts, and in those lowest moments, you know, they've hit a point where they do open up about it, right? And you sit with them and you do not let them, you know, go to the darkest places alone. You know, the next day, and the light comes on, and they feel better, and life keeps moving forward. You know, my question is like, as the friend, do you recommend? Because a lot of people who are struggling with depression stuff withdraw. They don't want to embrace. They don't want to call a hotline. They want to just internalize. They want to remove themselves. And so, as the friend who knows now what they're going through, do you recommend that, like, that we, the friends, like, stay like bringing it up and like, hey, have you talked to a counselor yet, or whatever, or is that intrusive? Because if the person doesn't want to talk to you about it and they want to withdraw, how do we be a good friend to them in that journey?
Well, that is such a great question, Cameron. One of the things that I would say is that there's probably different levels of this, just as there be different levels in terms of how to approach, an addiction. You know, what I would say with this is when somebody tells me something, and they're struggling, I assume that in that moment we have made a sacred bond to be on this journey together. And so I think we do a disservice to people of believing that we might step on somebody's toes by asking or doing a follow-up, that we might, add to their shame. You know, I do simple questions with people. It's like, how's your heart? How's your mind? How are you sleeping? We don't have to be so intrusive. Like, are you still having suicidal thoughts? Or we don't have to be so sort of direct, but we can check in, and checking in on people is absolutely important. I've had several cases being a friend, and I've had friends who are going through a dark season where, and this may sound intrusive, but this is what I do. I removed guns from their house, things of that nature. Mm-hmm. So it's all different levels of engagement. But what doesn't help people is for us to say, I don't want to step on any toes. I don't want to, bring something up again that was kind of uncomfortable. That's not the healthy, appropriate way to actually help people. And so I'm checking in all the time.
I love the questions that you just said, because the thing that I would be, you said it's not our job to fix them, our friends. And so the hesitation would be, well, if I'm asking them, well, did you go talk to that counselor that you said you would? That almost sounds like prescriptive and whatever. But to check in and say, hey, how's your heart today? Or how's your mind?
I mean, how are you sleeping is such a simple question.
That's such a good question.
Will open and tell you a lot. Yeah.
That is such a good question.
I love that one, Mike. I'm keeping that one.
Yeah. And if you're involved in church leadership, lead a small group, anything like that, please do the hard work of understanding this component to our journeys. And it's not just pray it away. And, the church needs to do a better job of equipping people and, holistically in their approach to mental health and well-being. And I'm hoping that this is, like you said, Mike, I mean, it's encouraging that this conversation is happening and continues, but I'd like it to speed up as well.
Me too.
Me too. So, all right. Mike, thanks for joining us, man.
Thanks, Mike.
Blessings to you guys. Thanks so much.
All right, stay tuned. Up next, we have your Ask the Cast questions.
Walk with the fade, like I don't even start for the win. I don't play, got a coat for the rain. Y'all boys brace for the storm. We tsunami informed, and it's best that you stay informed.
Connected Faith is a great new Bible study app built to teach, inspire, and encourage you on your faith journey. Connected Faith combines the features of a Bible app, devotional, and small group study, offering daily readings for individuals and weekly lessons for small groups. Study content is ongoing as new studies roll out every 3 months. Connected Faith aims to connect you with Scripture, your community, and with God. So visit www.connectedfaith.com to learn more and download Connected Faith in the App Store today.
All we do, win. All we do, win. All we do, win. Hit the gym, flex. Run me my check. We on your neck. Shooters on deck. All we do, win. All we do, win. All we do, win. All we do.
You're listening to Derek Minor, Byron Juan, and Cannon with All We Do Is Win. A little bit of a tone shift there for you. A little banger.
Speaking of Derek Minor,
yeah,
don't tell anybody, all 2 million listeners of you, but we just finished an album together.
What?
Whoa. Did you?
Yeah, and it's due very soon. So some of the little things for our tour dates. If you're already on our like newsletter list, you already know this. But like our tour dates, we're performing our new music.
So wait, is it a prop? He produced it. Is it prop and Derek, or is like what?
No, all prop. Like he produced it all. He wrote a bunch of the hooks. We did a lot of things together. He sang a lot of harmonies, and it's just like, yeah. Wow. So I just basically went in there as a blank slate and just let him make a tape on me. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's so fun.
Dude. All right, it's time for.
If you got something you want to know, now's the time to ask. It's Ask the Cast.
You guys went on Twitter this week. You hit us up at Relevant Podcast with your Ask the Cast questions, and we thought it'd be fun with Prop joining us to throw these to you all. Okay.
Good luck, Prop.
So there's an account, a rogue account called Relevant Out of Context. I forget, what was it, out relevant out or out relevant or something like that.
That's hilarious.
So they tweeted us. Whoever that person is tweeted us. You're stranded at the airport. You can choose one person you follow on Twitter but have never met to rescue you. Who are you DMing? And Jesse, you cannot say Alan Jackson. That was the criteria.
Well, I looked, and he's not on Twitter either. He's not that type of guy.
That makes sense.
He's out boating right now, and there's no service where he in the international waters that he is drunkenly strayed into. So he's off the table anyway.
I'm going Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Oh,
that's a perfect one.
Oh, it has to be someone I follow. Now I'm like looking at who I follow. If I knew this was a question, I would have. I want to say, I don't know how I don't follow Bear Grylls. He has to be, because they almost position this as like a survival type of situation. Stranded at the airport. Who is coming to rescue?
Yeah.
The answer there is obvious. He's going to teach me how to identify the most edible leather suitcase and flash cook it with jet fuel. And we'll survive on basically jerky that's made from Louis Vuitton leather. So I choose Bear Grylls. What about you guys?
Damn. Yeah, I'm torn between making this like a career opportunity or just somebody I enjoy. Because if it's a career opportunity,
but they have to rescue you. Oh, I guess you're just trapped. You haven't done anything dumb.
Yeah, if it's a career opportunity, I'm like, man, it's Kendrick. Like, can you come pick me up, Kendrick? Right? If it's not a career opportunity, it's probably going to be Peter Sagal from Wait, Don't Tell Me.
Just so you guys are very...
Prop, what a great answer. Yes.
Yeah. That is probably.
Why do you follow him on Twitter?
That is probably the whitest answer.
Is he?
He's hilarious, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
I do love him on Wait, Don't Tell Me, but I had no idea he was a good Twitter follow happening.
All right. Rebecca asks, how can I become a more interesting person?
Oh, well.
Wow, Rebecca.
Okay. This is easy, Rebecca. Interesting people live interesting lives and have interesting stories.
Start saying yes to stuff.
Yeah. Start random conversations with strangers. That works great for me. I've gotten all kinds of interesting little, if you listen to this podcast, interesting little twists over the years by just talking to randos. The more random a person looks like, the better stories that person has, and the more likely they are to let you accompany them, a complete stranger, on their next little adventure. So find the most interesting person you can visually.
Speaking truth.
I need to find a way to talk to that person. This is either going to end...
That is actually for sure the best advice you've ever given.
This is either going to end in an awesome story or my untimely death. It's usually worth the risk. So
okay, no, but
he's speaking truth.
In the real world, you don't want to go up to all the strangest people you see in the grocery store and try to be friends with them. That's not. But in the real world, say yes. Just say yes to stuff. You know, like when
That's
people,
the guy who keeps his headphones on in every airport all the time.
That's not the same thing. If I get an invitation or a friend says, "Hey, let's go," yes, the answer is yes. You go, you do. I just like to when I'm traveling alone, I just keep my headphones on. That's different. Say yes.
I agree. That's how you get more interesting. The more content you have and you learn about the world, the more interesting you get. So ask more questions.
Yeah,
there it is.
Amanda Upton asks on Twitter, my 6-year-old wants to know if you like pineapples. So
100%. Thank you.
Who doesn't like pineapples? I got
absolutely.
I got 2 ears, a mouth, and a heart, don't I? Yes, pineapples are delicious. It's a vacation. Eating one bite of pineapple is an edible vacation. Suddenly, I'm like in a much more beautiful place, a climate where pineapples naturally go. With the first bite, I'm like, that is fantastic. Why don't I eat more pineapples?
You're on an island immediately.
Exactly.
I'm immediately on a tropical island.
Edible vacation, all inclusive, by the way.
Ears and mouth.
Emily asks.
Yeah.
Emily asks, what's one food you eat and love that others would think was weird? For example, she loves saltine crackers.
Great.
And sometimes that's all she has for dinner. She loves them so much.
Dude,
that's bad.
I have a good one.
Zero nutritional value in that.
I have a good one. So, like, I don't know, like a month ago, everyone on this podcast knows, but I have a lot of cookouts at my house and the neighbors come and stuff. And so we decided, I heard you can make pizzas on the grill. So we made pizzas on the grill and we've been going to Costco and everything there is like giant portions. Long story short, we ended up with a gigantic container of pepperonis, right? I have been eating just straight up cold pepperonis, like, cause we have so many left over. I probably have eaten for the last 3 weeks, I'm going to guess, in the neighborhood of 15 to 27 pepperonis a day. Like, I am pounding pepperoni. Like, whenever I get hungry, like,
single-handedly ate 5 cows.
I'm talking about a pepperoni that goes on a pizza, but uncooked. I will, like, after this podcast, I'm going to walk downstairs. Because I'm thinking about pepperonis. I want some pepperonis. I'm going to go and grab it, like, about the size of a half a sleeve of Oreos worth and just eat them. Just eat pepperonis.
Yeah.
I love it.
I don't think that's weird.
You're about to be the only man in his 30s with gout.
I'm going to get scurvy like a pirate. That's why I need those pineapples more in my life, because offset the pepperoni vitamin deficiency. The pepperonis just absorb the vitamins and don't give anything back. So, yeah. But I highly recommend the pepperoni thing.
Tiffany asks, would you rather have constantly dry eyes or a constantly runny nose?
Well, I mean,
dry eyes.
That feels
I would
terrible.
definitely take dry eyes. I mean, the runny nose that's
because you just keep some Visine with you.
Yeah, but if they're constantly dry, that means that the Visine doesn't do anything because they're always dry.
I would.
You know
You're making my eyes hurt.
I would. So you would take the runny nose, Annie?
No, I hate both of them.
Yeah, because no one wants to be around runny nose person. Newsflash.
Exactly.
If someone's got a runny nose, it's like, I want to hang with that person. They kind of got a runny nose right now, and I feel like that's probably contagious. Dry eyes is like, they were probably up late last night doing something cool. I'm going to hang with them. I want to be a more interesting person.
Okay, but if you have a runny nose, you get to be the person who's like, hey, I can't make it tonight. My nose is running, and I'm going to, it's a great back out with 90 minutes to go.
It's pepperoni night.
You can head out real quick.
I can't get rid of them fast enough. They're going bad.
Okay, lastly, this is timely. It's fall. It's football season. Joel says, my high school's football games start soon. What are some creative chants we should do to rise above the line of mediocrity that is the average high school student section? Jesse, help Joel take his student section to another level.
This is easy.
We need to know the school mascot, though.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's hard. He didn't give us enough, really.
Yeah.
Well, he gave Jesse plenty to work with.
Yeah.
But.
We need to know what state. We need to know.
That's real.
Yeah.
The
The
state
city
thing is
name
real.
and the name of the school, the mascot. What are your colors?
I think he's talking about general ones. Like, we don't need a pitcher. We need a pitcher, not a belly itcher.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Like, obviously, they live in a state that is difficult to identify on the U.S. map. You just go there. Your state is geographically ambiguous. Ha ha! So you can go
but
there.
If it's high schoolers, they're playing everyone from their own state.
Yeah, they're not.
That's
they're
what makes
playing
it
the people from their city.
Burn.
Yeah, that's why I get personal. That's why I get very personal.
That's why it's like. Y'all ain't got no Starbucks over there.
Yeah.
Your side of town ain't got good coffee.
You're a lame Starbucks-less town. Yeah, so you can either go that or if you want to do homework, you need to get the yearbook from the year prior and just guessing on the pictures of which people are on the football team. And then you need to make like a long Shel Silverstein style poem involving all of their names and their goofiest physical attribute. Hello, dry eyes quarterback Chris McGinnis. You are terrible. Terrible dry eye Chris. And then the runny nose guy, you hit him. And it's embarrassing medical conditions. It's physical attributes. And if that doesn't work, you just lob pepperonis at them. Like Rotten Tomatoes to a bad comedian. You know?
Yo, y'all should learn but you have to do it in unison. The whole school has to do it. Like find the most like infectious like child song, like Baby Shark or something, and just the whole school, the whole game,
nonstop
sings Baby Shark. The whole game, Baby Shark. Just oh man, can you imagine the other rival school, the whole game just singing that? Oh my God.
How about this? This is next level. You know those commercials for medicine? Like, I don't know, like it's for sleep or it's for hair loss or whatever. And most of the commercials, like a montage of people walking in the park with a golden retriever. And they're like, side effects include, insomnia, toenail infections, and bad breath. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I would find one that has really bad side effects, go to the game the week before, spike the Gatorade with this medication. So by this time, the side effects have set in. And let's say it's bad breath. And everyone's sensitive about it because they don't know where it came from, but everyone on the team's got bad breath. Then you're like, you ain't happy, you are sad, you know that your breath is bad. And everyone's just like, hey. And you just mentally tear them down. Little do you know that you poison them. And so this one is very easy. Good question.
I think that might be illegal, but
I think you broke a law or two, but
it's a gray area. Brop, it's a gray area.
Sure.
I think we can agree on that. So this is very easy.
All right.
Question.
There's a bunch more questions. We appreciate everybody who tweeted us at Relevant Podcast and sent us questions. Tune in next Friday. We will do another edition of Ask the Cast. All right. On that note, we will wrap things up. Make sure you check out Mike Foster's podcast, Fun Therapy, wherever you get your podcasts. He's a great guy. And make sure to go check out the resources that he was mentioning at MikeFoster.com. Prop, tell us your tour dates. You're about to hit the road.
Yeah, Chicago, October 10th. Los Angeles, that's the one that's wink, wink. There's new music coming out.
Bring your recording devices.
October 21st in Los Angeles, and then the 27th in Oakland. And I highly suggest, if you're not near any of these, just because they're super special, like fly in, because we don't do this stuff often. We're interviewing Lisa Gunger. We're interviewing the owner of Visco. It's going to be dope. Yeah.
Very cool. Annie, I don't want to leave you out. Do you have anything you want to plug other than your new studio and office that you're filming from?
No, I'm just happy to be here with y'all.
All right, go check out That Sounds Fun and pre-order.
I have a podcast. I mean,
what the he's? Yeah.
I'm giving you the chance. And pre-order her new book that she's just starting to work on and is stressed out about every day.
Just drop a few quarters in a jar, and by the time my book's done, you'll be able to pre-order it with the money you've saved.
I have something I haven't announced
Jesse,
this yet, but I'm starting a little part-time bail bondsman gig after hours. So if you find yourself in a pinch, give me a call. I got a lot of people on the run right now, and I don't even know how this business works. It just sounded like a good idea. I answered a Craigslist ad, and I'm in over my head, guys. So please check me out. It's a bad situation.
That's hilarious. All right. Hey, and if you want other podcasts to check out, make sure to go check out Relevant Daily every weekday at the intersection of faith and culture. It's about 10 minutes long. And the new season of Unedited is going on right now. And let's see, right now, the conversation with Bianca Olthoff is up. And in a week from Monday, my guest will be Jeremy Courtney. Yeah. So make sure to check that out.
Bang.
Hey, subscribe to Relevant. Issue 101 is shipping now. Malcolm Gladwell's on the cover. Make sure to check it out at newsstands nationwide. You can view the whole thing at relevantmagazine.com. And there's a great subscription deal going on while you're there. Okay, on that note, we'll wrap it. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Chandler Strang. I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Annie F. Downs.
I'm Propaganda.
We will see you on Tuesday. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Now you're gone for many
Thank you for listening to the Relevant Podcast. If you like what you heard, be sure to leave us a review on iTunes. Check out other shows from the Relevant Podcast Network in the podcast section at relevantmagazine.com. And while you're there, browse exclusive podcast merchandise at our online store. Make sure to subscribe to Relevant Magazine. Info is available at relevantmagazine.com/subscribe.
You would harmonize when I felt that, but now you're gone.
I got 2 ears, a mouth, and a heart, don't I? Yes, pineapples are delicious.
Relevant Podcast Network.